Now, Ukrainian community groups have announced they plan to protest the World Cup Water Polo Championships that begin tomorrow here in Sydney after a Russian team was controversially given the green light to compete, the first time in an international competition in years. Well, joining me is the President of the Ukrainian Council of New South Wales, Andrew Mencinsky. Andrew, good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us today. I mean, Russian athletes, we know under the ban since the invasion in 2022, have largely been banned, blacklisted from every international sports competition for the last 4 years. Haven't their athletes suffered enough? Isn't it time to let them compete in events like this?
Well, I don't think so. I think if we think of athletes that have suffered, it's definitely not Russian athletes, it's Ukrainian athletes. Over 650 Ukrainian athletes have been killed by the Russian invasion. Over 800 Ukrainian sporting complexes have been absolutely destroyed by the Russian invasion. Our Ukrainian athletes continue to train under air raid alerts at the risk of death every single time they head out there. That's where my sympathies lie. And no, I do not believe these Russian athletes should be permitted to
I spoke to the Australian government today trying to get an answer on why this would be allowed. They've got severe blacklists, as you know, on various businessmen, oligarchs, companies, oil and gas particularly, but not on any Russian sports teams. They say there's nothing they can do. They're individuals. They haven't got a black ban on athletes. They're saying their hands are tied. Do you buy that?
No, we don't. These are state-directed, state-funded individuals. They work for clubs that are funded by sanctioned entities, sanctioned by Australia. The head of the Russian Water Polo Federation is also individually sanctioned by Australia and is a member of Putin's inner circle. The players, the captain and the players, have direct and documented links to Russian secret security service. The fact is, this is clear, this is known, and we've made the government aware of this, and they still haven't acted. It's
so
very
you're saying
disappointing.
Some of these athletes have direct connections to some companies and entities that are on the Australian blacklist as we speak?
Yes, clearly. There is a gas company that is the sponsor of a water polo team for which the captain of this team plays. It makes a mockery of our sanctions regime, and it may actually happen that these individuals, if they win, this Russian team, some of the funds will flow back to sanctioned companies. That's just disgraceful.
I think the prize money is something like $1 million, so we could see the Russians walk home with $1 million cheque from Australia.
Yes.
The local water polo authorities say it's nothing to do with them. It's the World Body Aquatics, World Aquatics, that's made this decision. What do you say to World Aquatics?
Well, I think World Aquatics should reverse that decision, but to be honest, I think Water Polo Australia should also grow a bit of a backbone and stop this. Norway, Poland, Finland have all refused.
What have they done though, Andrew? How did they stop it?
They declined. They declined to host. They don't host the Russians. They make a decision, like Norway, Poland and Finland have done. They have made an active decision and said, we will not host any World Aquatic events while Russia is allowed to participate. So if other countries in Europe can do this, we think Australian sporting federations can do so as well.
I note that the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, has now made a decision just recently, in recent weeks in fact, that they're going to now consider letting the Russians come back into the Olympic Games for LA 2028. They haven't decided on whether uniforms will be allowed or anthems, but the teams will play again. Are you fearing now all world sport will start moving to this position?
Sadly, we're seeing that happen, and that is disgraceful. The fact that a country that is killing Ukrainian children every single night is being readmitted into polite world society through sport is absolutely unacceptable. In Russia, sport is the state. They are not separate. Russia will see this as a propaganda win. Even this team here, already Russian media is reporting them cavorting outside the Sydney Opera House, saying how much they love the weather and the wildlife. It's just disgraceful.
All right, Andrew Mencinsky, we really appreciate your time this afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.